Like many artists, Andrew Rogers spends many hours alone in his studio producing large sculptures. But large is a relative word which may be better suited for one of his 32 monumental land art works, which are scattered on 5 continents across the globe.
This land art derives from one form that I created many years ago in bronze called the Rhythms of Life. For me, whether it's a sculpture on a large scale in the landscape or a bronze sculpture, it's always about the idea and how do you express that idea in a form. The Rhythms of Life for me is about a series of points that we all have in our lives that connect and form a line of life that we all experience. All our lives, no matter where we live, are subject to similar influences, whether it be about health, family, friends, history, heritage. So that's what the Rhythms of Life is about. It's about the building blocks of civilization. It's about time and space and the interconnectedness of everybody around the world.
Each of Rogers' land sculptures, or geoglyphs, is unique and each specifically created for its location.
The choice of a site is of particular importance. Most of these sites have a unique feature in terms of history or heritage, in terms of topography or geography. For example, the site in Bolivia is where the Incas and the Aztecs lived, and it's at an altitude of 4,300 meters. It's the largest and highest contemporary art site in the world. The Arava Desert in Israel is in one of the crucibles of civilization, and it's 400 meters below sea level. The site in Iceland is about 60 miles from the North Pole. It's next to a town which is the furthest northernmost town in the world. So all of these sites are imbued with history and heritage.
In Bolivia, like almost all sites, the area is blessed, in this case by local shaman, in a ceremony which goes back centuries.
Estamos en buen camino. Gracias al Padre Sol, gracias a la Pachamama.
This too is a part of the rhythm of life. What is taken from the earth is returned to the earth.
We work with the elders of a society. We look for the ancient symbols in the forms of petroglyphs and pictoglyphs. And we always ask, what is it that you would like to preserve in your history and heritage for the future generations? They're about getting a balance and a perspective in life about the endeavours of man and really how insignificant and puny they are on the scale of the cosmos. So yes, they're wide-reaching in terms of they draw on the past, but they're also projecting into the future. All of these structures are large enough to be seen from a satellite. Normally they're photographed at about 280 miles from the Earth's surface. What I'm putting together is just a drawing on the Earth, and to see a drawing on the Earth properly, you need to be a long way distant from the surface of the Earth. If you go to Google Earth, you can locate all of these works. There's in fact a tour on Google Earth if you put in Rogers Geoglyphs that someone's done, and they take you automatically around some of these objects.
Rogers often places these enormous works in some of the most inhospitable places on Earth, always pushing the boundaries, not only of accessibility, but of human endeavor.
This ridge line of rocks here is this curve here that we're standing on, straight down here, yeah?
Building everything by hand, for Rogers, it's more than an environmentally sound idea. It's another way to link these sculptures with the people who labor for weeks in their creation.
For me, involving the people that live in an area with their own history and heritage is very important. My pleasure. My delight is when I stand amongst hundreds of people and some of them are saying to me, I'm so pleased to be doing this because this is about my history and my heritage, and I'll be able to tell my children and my grandchildren that I helped create this.
And to create this art, Rogers recruits an army of workers who move tons of rocks, passing them hand to hand up the side of the mountain, as people have done for thousands of years.
Okay. Let me tell you, these stones are bloody heavy. Everybody that works on these projects gets paid. and men and women get paid equal wages. Sometimes that's not the tradition or the norm, but it's my philosophy and my background. Everybody we make sure gets fed and looked after properly. Sometimes we bring a doctor onto the site, such as in Sri Lanka, and we've found that people's ailments generally are being treated as opposed to them having cause to have any problems on the site that they needed treating. And it's good to see that you can provide this service.
The concept of an art project in the middle of the desert or on the side of a mountain is hard to understand in many of these remote areas of the world, especially by people who have very little art in their lives.
We require skilled stonemasons on all of these projects. Most of them are used to building houses and vertical walls. So when I come along and talk about curves and get them to shift stones a few millimetres, first of all they think I'm crazy. But what you find over a period of time, that everybody comes to an understanding of this abstract concept, and everybody comes to understand that it's about their history and about their area. So I think normally by the end of the project, most people, although they desire to work, also understand the wider dimensions of this project. Forever saying to them and to people in general, I'm not constructing buildings, I'm making an idea.
In this unique collaboration between an artist, a community, and the earth, there are many benefits, and though Roger seldom returns to the sites, he has taken away a lot from each.
I think the central thing that I have learned from the experience of doing this and why I like to do it is because life is about people, and nothing gives me more pleasure than to be invited into a home. I've been asked to be a godfather and am a godfather from being in Bolivia, and it's joy to interact with people and have this culture. The most important people here are all of the people I see sitting in front of me that helped build the geoglyph on the mountain up behind us.
Like the earth itself, which is constantly changing, these land art projects will not last forever. They will be transformed by time and space, altered by people and nature. They are a reflection of our environment and our human spirit, one beat and our rhythm of life.
The reality is, although they're large structures, we're just talking about a speck in space. And although they may last 200 or 300 years, we're really only talking about a moment in time. There's no foreign matter brought into the areas in which we build. So over time, these will disappear back into the landscape. My view of history is very long. My view of our occupation or my occupation in the earth is very momentary. So I believe these are just a moment in time.